Today I want to talk about gods and different gods in One Piece. Of course, with Luffy being the sun god Nika, it does make you think about things like this. Like, who is an actual god? Yes, I know. We're all thinking about Usopp right now. And Usopp, he is a god for all intents and purposes. But what is a god in One Piece? Or just in general, what is a god? Not including Kanye, right? A god is a deity or a supernatural being who is considered divine or sacred.
Come on, you fat. Do it.
So this video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Surfshark, which is a virtual private network, is an award-winning VPN. You may think it's something you probably don't need or you don't understand what a VPN does or how it works. Well, I'll break it down for you. A VPN is your own private network that you can use to protect your information while streaming, shopping, or just casually browsing the internet. It's funny because incognito mode to some people is very secure, but fun fact, all it means is that your browser doesn't save cookies. Your ISP can still track your activity and collect your data. It also does not stop websites from seeing your location. Yeah, crazy, right? With Surfshark VPN, it blocks ads, trackers, malware, and even phishing attempts from users trying to steal your information. You can use Surfshark to protect yourself, and you can do all this with one account, because one account covers unlimited household devices. So to start browsing safely, click the link below, use code B.D.A for 83% off and 3 extra months free. Yeah, I get it. Knowing you're exposed is terrifying, but use my link and protect yourself and sign up for Surfshark.
In other definitions, it is a superhuman being or spirit worshipped as having power over nature or human fortunes, a deity. So basically it's about being worshipped, having influence, having power over. That does describe the celestial dragons to a T. That's exactly what they are. They are basically forced to be worshipped with the heavenly tribute. They have power over the verse, but they are not really true gods. Are there any true gods in One Piece? Is the sun god actually a true god? Well, who's who and how he described things was like sun god Nika was someone that slaves they praised because they were hoping to be liberated. So we're gonna go down a rabbit hole today in One Piece about gods and what they actually mean and who should be considered a god and possibly the future gods of One Piece. So I'm gonna start it off with the future gods of One Piece, actually. I'm sure for people that's reread Skypiea recently, this is no surprise because in Skypiea, the sun god is mentioned. And the sun god is not mentioned once, it's mentioned a couple of times after that. And of course in Wano, it is being spammed. But the sun god was basically a snake that was part of a tribute or human sacrifice in Skypiea. But when the god of sun was mentioned, there were also 3 other gods: the god of rain, the god of the forest, and the god of the land. Now, with the sun god being what it is and being explained over time, because the other instances was even in Elbaf, when Mother Carmel, she somewhat used the sun god as a thing to explain away her powers, but she really had a devil fruit. And so in One Piece, these deities, these larger than life figures, how much can you believe it to be true? Because, okay, sun god Nika, we know that's Luffy, but going back and looking at the story and what the sun god was able to do, it all boils down to a devil fruit. Let's stay in Skypiea for a little bit. God Enel, larger than life figure, can do godly things based on what the people know. No one could really harm him. He could hear everything that was being said. He was being worshipped and he was basically heralded as a god, but you can explain it away as just a devil fruit. Now, the weird thing here is with sun god Nika, it is a mythical devil fruit, but the answer to it being a god goes back to what devil fruits actually are. Like for this sun god Nika fruit, which is a deity in the One Piece world, how did that come about? How was this devil fruit made? Where do devil fruits come from? Why was this sun god Nika chosen to be an actual devil fruit? In this specific instance, is this someone that lived in the past that basically their soul went into a fruit and that made the devil fruit come to be? But then how do you explain the jacket fruit? I can't wait for devil fruits to be explained, but let's keep talking about gods for a second. And this god is one you may know. This god is the sub button, presiding over us, having so much power, being a deity almost. If you enjoyed the video so far, drop a like, sub to the channel, look down, make sure that you are subscribed because YouTube be tripping. But no, seriously, let's talk about some gods. Usopp, for some people, has always been a god, but in Dressrosa, he got the title of god because of how much he was actually doing and accomplishing, which was beyond the realm of possibility. Gods are worshipped and gods are exclaimed when they do things that people feel like should not be able to be done. Luffy has been a god before Wano. The things that Luffy was able to accomplish, you can only explain it away by saying he's a god. Just how lucky he is, how durable he is, the situations that he's been through, people hearing these stories about him invading Impo Down, going to Marineford, the War of the Best, the lore, and over time, these stories manifest themselves into unbelievable heights. But who are the other gods in One Piece? If you had to guess, who's the god of the forest? Who's the god of the rain? Who's the god of the land? Now, this could be nothing because these other things have not been mentioned, but because the sun god ended up being a thing, which it had a lot more relevance because of the sun pirates, how it kept being reiterated. But sun god Nika, we have actual facts and evidence where we can go back and point to saying, hey, these are moments that Oda's probably referencing. Luffy being the light in Skypiea, defeating Enel after they were praying to him. Oda's third favorite panel, Luffy dancing around a campfire. People looking on in amazement. The silhouette being so similar to what we see now in the sun god Nika. I don't want to just explain this away as, well, it's just something. So I'm going to speculate who the god of the forest could be, the god of the rain, and the god of the land. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Lunarians as fallen gods, gods who lived atop the Red Line before they were toppled, more than likely by the current celestial dragons, the current empire, if you may. Now we see the Lunarians, they can fly, they have wings, they have insane durability, they can project fire. That is not normal. People see things like this, they're gonna say these people are gods. The supernatural, it's become a regular thing based on us going through the story, but the supernatural to regular people, that is not natural. They are gods, and again, they lived atop the Red Line. Mary Jowa, Imu, the Gorosei. Gorosei means 5 elder stars, the stars that serve this god in Imu. There's also another god that's been mentioned in the story, the sword god, Ryuma. And Ryuma got the sword god title based on his exploits. Ryuma was a regular person from all that we know, regular being not as literal because he was a monster, never defeated, held everyone out of Wano even though it's considered the land of gold, but because of that, he's heralded as a sword god, a deity to be praised, supernatural. But who are the future gods of One Piece? And again, God being used in One Piece, it's not really hard to determine because everything can be explained away. To our knowledge, there's no really true deity in regards to an actual god that we know of in the story. In real life, when people think of God, they think of someone that's supernatural, cannot be touched, all-knowing, the person who started it all. There's no instance of any figure that we know of. Maybe we meet that person one day, but in every single scenario, a god and the reason behind the quote-unquote god title can be explained away. Of course, the sun god in Skypiea and in Elbaf have two completely different contexts, but they're probably derived from the same thing. This person, this mythological figure that freed the slaves and people could look to for liberation. But of course, if you have gods, you're gonna have devils and demons. Demons like Doflamingo, which, heavenly demon, kind of a contradiction, ironic in a way, because he technically is someone that fell from being a god, a celestial dragon. But then it's weird because you're eating a devil fruit. How connected are devil fruits and gods? And how can someone who wields a devil fruit be a god? One Piece is about irony and contradictions, and of course, exaggerations. In my opinion, Zoro will be the modern day sword god because of things he will be able to accomplish, and he will be seen as greater than and supernatural. Luffy's already the sun god, the modern day sun god, somebody who will go on to do amazing things, liberate the country, liberate the world, and be viewed as a deity. He's been mentioned even before this was confirmed by Hyogoro, by other people that came in contact with Luffy. He's always been special, but let's speculate a bit. Other than God Usopp, because he's already a god. There's no need to even go any further. The things he has done, he's earned that title. God Usopp, the #1 manifester in One Piece. Other than him, what are some other gods? Now, please do not mention the mountain god as well, because Jesus Christ. Whatever happened there in Wano with Odin slicing that thing open and it still being alive, it is what it is. But who are the future gods of One Piece? I mentioned Zoro being the future sword god, Luffy already being the sun god, Usopp just being a god. Let's talk about Blackbeard. Could Blackbeard be the god of darkness? Or in essence, a moon god, a lunar deity? We already know Blackbeard does not sleep, so Oda is laying out the path for Blackbeard to be there. In Japanese mythology, you all know of Tsukiyomi, the moon god. As the story goes on, Oda will give more hints as to Blackbeard and his connection to the moon, but as we've mentioned before, Blackbeard, when Oda drew him as a kid, the moon was in the panel. The fact fact that he does not sleep, the fact that he has the Yami Yami no Mi, the embodiment of darkness. You are the moon unaware of the dawn. The moon will also rise. That's the lyrics in the Bink Sake, which is showing that the sun and the moon, they're both rising somewhat at the same time. Blackbeard is truly the antithesis of Luffy, and Oda is going to consistently drive that theme home. I'm not going to jump as far as to say Blackbeard does also have a mythical Zoan devil fruit, but it is not crazy that was the first fruit that he ate, meaning that's why he could now eat 2 other devil fruits. Not crazy at all. His body is already weird. Tsukiyomi was the second of 3 noble children, which could be something with Blackbeard. I'm just saying something to think about, because the sun and the moon, of course you could use it where it's Zoro and Luffy, but Oda is building these 2 characters. Now, when we think of land, rain, and earth, you could think of Green Bull and the fact that he hasn't eaten in a couple years. Blackbeard doesn't sleep, Green Bull doesn't eat. It could be leading to the fact that Green Bull could be a god of the earth. You might say, an admiral, god of the earth? No way! This, possibly god of rain. Maybe that's Dragon. Maybe Dragon has a mythical fruit that's about weather, but he could be proclaimed as such. And the god of the forest. That's anybody's guess. Could be Green Bull as well. Not saying he's the god of the land and god of the forest, but the speculation is that he has a fruit that has something to do with plants. Not sure why, just a feeling. But if this is any indication, Oda could go this route and start to explain more about gods. Again, gods are deities, people that are praised based on supernatural things that they've done, and they hold and wield power over people because they're able to do things that people think would not normally be able to be accomplished. Imu could be one of these gods. Again, the power that Imu wields alone by controlling the One Piece world is scary enough. The eyes that Imu has, which in One Piece seemingly does indicate some form of ownership or possession. God is a term used relatively loosely, but there's always a justification to the means of using it. Is it far-fetched that him is a god? Not in the literal sense, but in the One Piece way of explaining a god. Imu is a god. Which god? Time will tell. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about gods in One Piece? Do you think there is a one solo deity ruling over the One Piece world? That's how the One Piece devil fruits came to be? Or gods are just rumors, stories, exaggerated over time based on amazing accomplishments from actual mortals? But yeah, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.